Okay, and now we get to the debate. I want to give the floor to Torsten. Torsten is online. He would be the moderator, the referee for upcoming debate. So I want to give the floor to you, and I welcome our speakers to the stage.
Yeah.
That was promising.
Good afternoon. I'm very sorry that I cannot be with you physically in Vienna, but I'm really looking forward for your debate. I'm in a safe distance, so don't be afraid, be frank, be honest. But if there are any, the problem is the time. So please be short, be precise, and try to come with factual arguments that the other side can react to. Because at the end, I hope that we can get to a solution which works for Ukraine. So who wants to start?
I think we didn't have a choice. Lena already kind of structured who starts and who...
But maybe just a short comment so the audience knows what to expect. So
Yes.
we will have several rounds of debate, 7 minutes, then 3 minutes, 3 minutes, somewhere Torsten in between. After the, what was it?
yeah, and 1 minute conclusion.
After the 3 minutes, Torsten in between, and then 1 minute conclusion.
Yes.
So we will be very precise. We have the timer here that you cannot see. So
we have this just...
Torsten, we promised you no blood, but you know.
Yes, but I'm in a safe distance, so you know, be careful.
Go ahead, Serhiy.
Okay, so today a lot of you already spoke a lot of about building back better and why it is important and why it is kind of not an option for Ukraine. But there are a few things I really would like to accentuate, maybe also kind of compiling the information that sounded today. So with the challenges of war in Ukraine that we have faced and are facing, we also understood about a lot of opportunities that exist in our country. And through that understanding, we got information about, like, for example, resources, especially rare earths and rare metals, which Ukraine has deposits. If you didn't know, there was a huge report that maybe that was even the reason for the war, because Ukraine has 28 out of 32 of those rare metals and rare earth metals, which are so essential for future economic development at the global scale, especially if global economies don't want to have 100% dependency on extractions from China. Another thing that we learned is that Ukrainian business is fantastically adaptive. So we went through a lot of terror and or attempts to terrorize our economy, our people. We didn't respond to that with fear. We responded to that with adaptiveness and innovation. And innovativeness of Ukrainian people is also known. So, just looking at that point, why Ukraine is one of the richest countries, has very robust, adaptive, and innovative business and people, we finally need to utilize that. And there is no way if we are not utilizing that, that would be, I think, a global scale disappointment. So we're destined to building back better. And building back better gives us resilience, as it's focused on creating systems and infrastructures that can withstand future challenges, including economic shocks and environmental disasters, sustainable development, emphasizing on green technology and sustainable practice that help to ensure that reconstruction support long-term environmental goals and reduces reliance on fossil fuels or just one type of energy generation. Economic growth, by prioritizing innovation and modern industries, Ukraine can diversify its economy, creating jobs and fostering growth. Social cohesion, a comprehensive recovery plan can address social inequalities and support communities affected by the war and promote sustainability and unity, which is critically important, and international support. That, with that in mind, that we really will kind of channel our resources on rebuilding back better. We can get a commitment that will attract foreign investment and aid, and it will help Ukraine to demonstrate a very clear strategy and vision for prosperous future. What we need, also, we need to overcome one of that is just a pure mental barrier. Ukrainians really had this complex that we are worse than somebody in some things. And I would really hope that with this war going to end, we'll get over that and finally will become a driver for sustainable development in EU, especially also taking in consideration that the process of joining EU entangles a lot of requirements for Ukrainian industries and businesses that have to be considered. And if that is considered, we shouldn't build back just better. We should build back much better and much smarter. And just, I really don't want to end the debate on that right now. It is always...
No chance, you will not end the debate on like that.
It is always better. If you're not able to build back better, you're doing much worse. Thank you.
Thank you, Serhiy. So now I'm very much looking forward to Olena's response.
Well, I would rather say not a response yet. I have a response on another piece of paper. But I would first of all like to start by explicitly noting that faster reconstruction does not necessarily imply bad or poor quality. Similarly, better reconstruction has to be defined. Are we talking about high-class technologies, EU taxonomy-aligned solutions, or just better than Ukrainian Class C? Independently, at times of emergency and enormous need, which Ukraine is facing today, certain considerations have to be made when planning and implementing these projects. Time and project duration matters. Planning, calculating, designing projects with new technologies, giving limited practical experience and lack of engineers and workers that we continuously discuss today, at all levels extends the project preparation cycle. Construction companies may be experienced in delivering square meters, but not with sophisticated HVAC systems, BIM models, energy modeling simulations, REST technologies, and optimized cost-effective solutions. They are simply not ready. Delivery of green technologies takes time, while their service and maintenance capacities are limited. Higher technical requirements require longer and more competent preparation of projects, and time matters. Cost matters. With more than 5 million internally displaced persons, we are forced to choose between a heat pump and a square meter. For construction or reconstruction with greener technologies, cost is important. Housing is urgent, critical infrastructure and critical services are urgent. Many people still live in temporary shelters, covering only for basic needs without possibility to plan mid or long term. This, in turn, increases the risk of their immigration abroad and pursuit of better life. Costs in capex per square meter are between 20 to 30% higher when investing in higher, more sophisticated, energy-efficient and renewable energy technologies compared to the standard baseline. And yes, OPEX costs decrease by roughly between 35 to 50%, but where do we take this 30% more investment when the need already today is so huge? Also, if you were asked, do you want your home with a heat pump and solar PV panels and whatever other installations in 3 years, or would you like just a home in 1 year, a little bit faster, what would be your answer? And that, considering you would currently live on below than standard accommodation. Simple but fast solutions may also bring immediate savings of up to 30% in projects like modernization of water and wastewater treatment facilities. And they can be implemented in 1 year, while the proper modernization of the entire plant to a similar scale would require 3 to 4 years in development and implementation of such a project. Functioning critical infrastructure is more important in the immediate future from consumer perspective, and that is needed now. Emergency shall be clear, square meters are important, critical services are necessary, and cost for delivering them matters. Proven and scalable technologies, I'm still under my 7 minutes, you don't have to put me on ticker here. Proven and scalable technologies with experience in Ukraine, solutions that we know work, should be the focus for now. New solutions and modern technologies require regulations and experience, and both are currently lagging behind in the Ukrainian context. Most of the modern technologies and equipment may only be imported, while reconstruction process has to support available suppliers and manufacturers in Ukraine and promote their available suppliers and manufacturers, not the future exploded materials, and promote their growth aligned with the EU taxonomy, but that is future. People cannot wait for their homes, water and heating until we have proven concepts and human capacities to deliver them in necessary scale. Applying what we know works and can be maintained shall be prioritized. This will also reduce the loss of human capital in the country. We have to streamline projects and technologies to capacities we currently have. Doing now and improving later may also be a solution. In most of the cases during project development phase, it is possible to foresee integration of greener technologies at the later phase. For example, when designing a building, we can plan for stronger carrying loads so that roofs can later hold PV or solar thermal installations. We can design basements and territories around these buildings to accommodate variety of heat pumps or whatever other technologies later on when money and capacities are available. Fast solutions for critical water and heating supply may bring immediate savings, but they do not disturb the simultaneous interventions towards more holistic and proper modernization over the years. Bridges and transport infrastructure can also be built and planned, accommodating traffic expansion and new technologies integrations in years to come. Naturally, this should all not be a wasteful process. Few more final thoughts to drop here. Any modernization effort in Ukrainian realities is already energy efficient and often sustainable. Seeking for standardized green but fast available technologies in necessary scale should be a mid-term target, not immediate task. Ukrainians in their majority may not be ready, either from the mentality point of view or affordability, to pay for better solutions. Donor and IFI-funded projects often require complex project structures, sophisticated contracts, and high criteria for construction. For contractors, 80% of our market currently is not ready for that. International companies and suppliers, like yourself, which would be the target for bringing these higher quality technologies and materials and implementation practices, are also not standing in line to come to Ukraine already today, unless it is after the war. But reconstruction is happening now. How shall we manage with this balance? So to conclude, time matters because people are waiting, cost matters because funding is limited, available experience, human and technological capacities really define what can be done today. Simplification of process and change in mentality are needed, and none of this is fast. But we have to move faster, and the time is now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Olena. So that's a tough one. Now, Serhiy, I think you have 3 minutes to answer.
Would you make an interaction, announce this QR question while we're taking a breath? I don't need to take a breath, but if you need to announce QR question, no? I know the structure. But
Yes.
so
No,
do we do the
after the three. Let's do after the third
Okay,
meeting.
No,
so-
I understood that now essentially your task is to contradict the arguments of the other side.
But we can open, no, Torsten, the plan was that we open QR question while we're taking a breath. People are starting to write their answers, and then we proceed while they're writing, right?
Yeah.
I don't see any
Yeah,
questions,
yeah, so-
and I'm not sure that I have the technical means to do this.
Somebody did it for you.
Okay, so we now have a question on the screen, where we kindly ask you to follow the QR code and add your own arguments from among those that perhaps so far Serhiy and myself have missed. So add your own argument, building back better and or building back faster. Be creative. And meanwhile, yes, meanwhile, did you take a breath? You can then continue with the 3 minutes.
Yeah, I actually can do. So if everyone is fine with listening and answering the question simultaneously, but what I want to say that it's great to have Lena as a partner in the debate, because she actually didn't contradict that we need to build back better. We actually have to build back better. But the suggested approach of have a delayed cost for that in the future, I don't think it's very smart. What was a very smart suggestion that we need maybe to do it smarter and to do it like a programmatic approach. But that is exactly one of the sides of building back better. You need to develop a very good example, thoroughly thought, and multiply that, not just as a single project, but as a program that has an impact. And with that, of course, you will achieve all needed results. Because if you are relying on very limited capacity, somewhere in very secluded region, your multiplied impact still will be zero. Yes, you will implement a very fast solution somewhere where that capacity is available. But without a strategy, without a program and a vision, you will never achieve results. So those programmatic approaches are essential as a building back better and smarter strategy, which is so needed in Ukraine. And another thing, just the amount of time actually needed to think through something really good and complex and all-encompassing in terms of the needs that are right now and the needs that can be in the future, just at the beginning. So the most effort that is different between doing really bad job and doing very good job is just how you plan that at the beginning. And it is possible to accumulate those efforts and to put it into work just at that beginning so it will work for Ukraine. And only in that case, you will have the result of something positive happening, because I have never heard an example of something built fast and then multiplied and then built as a good example, unless it's really great. Thank you.
So then I have to repeat myself. I actually do contradict and say we have to build faster. In your initial opening remarks, you have mentioned resources and deposits and all these wonderful potentials that we have in Ukraine.
Yeah.
How long will it take until these private investments, which I think this assumes required private investment, will come to exploit these resources and put them into functioning operational economic benefits? You mentioned that Ukrainian business is fantastically adaptive. Yes, adaptive. Yes, I agree. But they are fighting today for money, for resources, and for people. People. We have been talking about people the entire day, I have a feeling today. Yes, you said that we have to build back better to be more resilient and all these systems and infrastructures and sustainable development and economic growth and social cohesion, but none of that goes against the faster that I was talking about, right? Considering the time, costs, and all other arguments that I mentioned matter. And then you say now that we have to think of really thorough and good example and bring this to the market. And may I please ask you, how long did it take you now with your wonderful example of guarantees and guarantee fund to launch it and put it into operation? Things simply take time. And vision and results, and that people need solutions. People need solutions, not concepts. And in this sense, time is of essence. Because, you know, if I would be one of those IDPs living in a gym or similar type of setup, growing 2 kids, I would not be waiting until we have wonderful NZEB houses and until our construction codes allow us to build them. So once again, I think there exist faster solutions that are reasonably good, that can be implemented and give Ukrainian people what they need, and now, today, in 1 or 2 years, and not in 5 or 6 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Very great, lively debate. Unfortunately, I'm only online. I understand that now people have still the chance to vote, to essentially give their suggestions. I don't see them currently.
Can we already show the results? Not yet?
But let people give a bit more time. Yes. I don't see any suggestions, but maybe you see them in Vienna. I don't see them online.
Not yet. They will come in a minute, but you can go ahead. Then we do that in a minute.
Can we do another round?
No. Come on.
Out of time.
So let me also contribute a bit, because in the end, what you say both is very valid. But I have the feeling that you're talking about different things. Because when Lena talks, she thinks about, let's say, the family or the woman with 2 kids in a swimming pool when she has no housing, which is dramatic. When Serhiy talks about raw materials, he talks about something completely different. But I think both are valid. And in short, if you really want to put it very short, I think the formula could be you have to plan better, and then you can build faster. But if you don't know what you're doing, then you will never build well enough. Of course, it's right when Lena says that in many cases, a bit of modernization is always better than what was before, because in many sectors, it's just impossible not to build back better. Whatever you do is better than what was before. Go to an old coal-fired power plant from the 1950s, no matter what you do, will increase the efficiency. But this is not, I mean, this is certainly positive. But the real challenge now for Ukraine is to build a country where people want to live. And I mean, fixing a problem is only survival mode. But in the long run, for the next generation, you need a country where people want to live, where they develop, and where they feel really the potential of creating their own life and the life of their families and their environment. And that's a bit what I would like to contribute, is that you should probably combine the two things. Yes, you have to fix short-term problems, but when you think about the industry, the economy of Ukraine, you cannot do this very, very fast. You have to take time, because the big investments, if you misplace them, they will not come back. So you cannot, let's say, miss the funding opportunity that you have now. And we see this on energy, where we are now bringing in equipment into the country. And the question is, which type of equipment do we do? What do we use it for? Do we use it for a replication of the Soviet energy system just with modern technology? Or do we use it to build a modern 21st century energy system? And that's a bit the problem in Ukraine, that people bring in these, let's say, gas turbines. And there is no real plan how to best use it. So we are doing things very, very fast as we can. But I think we can do much better in planning, in preparing, in conceptualizing. And I think that's the big challenge that we face in many sectors. And then on housing concretely, because Lena said, well, all these concepts need time, but we have already worked for quite some years. We have, for instance, an energy efficiency fund, which has now an operational experience of, I think, 4 or 5 years. We have created OSBB. We have many, many people who know how to renovate houses, who know what's important for their own needs. And that we should use. It's not somebody sitting in an architectural office deciding what people need. People know what they need. And we have, for instance, offered to the people in the Energy Efficiency Fund several what we called renovation packages. And we thought that people will go for the easy stuff, you know, change a bit the windows, quick and dirty. No, people went for complex renovations because they know that in the end, yes, it is a bit more expensive, and yes, it takes a bit more time, but the long-term benefit for the people in the house is much bigger than what they have when they just change the windows. So I think it's not so black and white, but I'm very curious to see what people in the room think about it.
That was quite a list, huh?
Oh, God.
We have an engaged audience, Torsten, so let's take a minute.
But you don't expect me to make an intelligent summary of all these 49 points.
But we can take a minute to go through it. Wow.
We need another energy day just dedicated to that.
Yes.
Exactly.
But you see, it's almost 50-50. And this is also what I feel, because it's not either or. And I think the main criterion should be, will people want to engage in this or the other way? Maybe people don't want to engage in, I don't know, geothermal energy because it's too complicated. But they probably will want to engage in having a house which is well isolated. And in reality, in housing is relatively simple. It's not a question of technology. These technologies are well known, and you don't need let's say the fanciest thing with, you know, smart home systems or whatever, but what you need is quality. And that's a problem in Ukraine, that even expensive housing sometimes is built with such poor quality that it's not energy efficient, that you have bad water quality and all these things. So I have no idea how to make an intelligent conclusion out of these 49 points. I hope you have buried, because I don't see you, I just see the slide. So I hope you have buried your boxing gloves and you can agree on a draw. Is that a fair?
No way.
Is that a fair proposal?
Yes, we can do that. Me, okay.
Yes.
Well, I think thank you very much for those who did the faster list. I agree with you all. I think in terms of the better, to a certain extent, I'm not a pessimist, you know, I'm just an informed realist, because I have a little bit to do with the project implementation, and I'm all for leaving the world better than we came into it, but I just know how much effort each of the small steps takes. However, in my summary statement, I would like to say that if I were to seek the balance between faster or better, I would seek faster and cheaper solutions that do not dilute the future effort of improving and diversifying the energy supply, building better cities, upgrading the systems. Build now, improve later principle is possible. I would accept that urgency is more critical in immediate future. In immediate perspective, and this is 2, 3, maybe 5 years, but any delay can cause more negative effect on Ukrainian economy, on business, and outflow of people. Because being green enthusiasts is only so much possible when you are sitting in the darkness and cold. I would focus effort on seeking abundant financial tools, and this is very important, abundant financial tools and resources which would allow us to bridge the gap and pay for speed, competence, and technology without compromising one for another. I would naturally strive for building fast, and with quality whenever it is possible. But I am all for rebuilding Ukraine faster and together. Thank you.
Well, Lena, but when you say whenever it is possible, I know the answer I will get in Kiev. Unfortunately, this time it's not possible, and it will be always like this.
Yes, exactly. Unfortunately, there are no faster solutions which will be actually that faster and will do an impact unless they are well planned and better solutions. Not just in immediate perspective, but in a midterm perspective. But this debate was to show importance, and Lena actually really missed the last word, building back faster, smarter, better, just simply because she was debating with me. But this debate was to show importance of thinking how to mobilize resources and support for Ukraine's recovery and resilience, making one of the resource-richest countries, and under resources, not only the rare earth metal that I mentioned is true, it's people, first of all, people of Ukraine. So one of the richest countries in Europe to be stronger, resilient, and to become a driver for innovative, sustainable development. So I want to conclude with two main points. Building back better can also be faster, but it's still better. And it's still when we take into account a programmatic approach on project implementation, again, making a workable example for which we already built a lot of examples and a lot of experiences already. We just need to take it and multiply. And with those blueprints and multiplying them, I would call it building back better and smarter. And the second conclusion, with the potential Ukraine has, and really I want to recall on something written as a response from the audience, that if we don't do it now, we will never do. We need to do it now, and with the potential Ukraine has, we can build not just better, but much better, and Ukraine as a country and the nation really long-awaited and long-deserved. This potential will finally be realized and used for Ukraine's greatness.
And I try to instill a bit of, let's say, innovative thinking and energy by looking at IT. Ukraine has leapfrogged, in a sense, many developments in IT, is now probably one of the most advanced countries in Europe on public services, on smartphones, on the internet, etc. And this is exactly what Serhiy said, using the potential of the country, using the potential of the people, give them the freedom to develop, and don't try to impose a solution on them because you think this is the right one. Because that's the problem, for instance, when you talk about energy, there's somebody planning systems and people are not involved. The same can be true for housing. We try to help people to get back the initiative with OSBB, for instance. And I think this is also the future of the bigger energy discussion. It's not one genius finding the right approach, finding the right investments, and everybody will be happy. No, it will take a lot of people. It will be a decentralized system because only then it's resilient. Otherwise, we will discuss the whole questions that we discussed for the last years about winter scarcity and how to prepare for the winter forever and ever and ever. And this is something which Ukraine definitely doesn't need, and Ukraine has a huge potential to overcome.
We would still have 2 minutes. We're perfect on timing. I guess then that...
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Torsten, for being with us. We very much appreciate. And next time, on-site.
That's promised.
Thank you. Bye.
And we really hope you enjoy that.
I hope you enjoy the reception now.